After a difficult start to Nyck De Vries' first season in Formula 1, Red Bull made a decision to bring about changes at AlphaTauri. Even though De Vries earned points in his debut race at Monza last year, he failed to score any points for the team since then. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko believed there was no need to give him more time to prove himself in Formula 1. The decision was made after Daniel Ricciardo participated in a tire test at Silverstone on Tuesday, with Red Bull team principal Christian Horner keeping Marko informed of Ricciardo's progress on the track. Shortly afterward, De Vries' dismissal was confirmed, along with the news of Ricciardo's imminent return to F1 racing. Ricciardo will compete in the final 2 races before the summer break, with the remaining races taking place between then and the end of the season. Is Daniel's decision to join the team the right one? And what does the AlphaTauri engineer warn him about? Stay tuned until the end of the video to discover the answers. But before we do that, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below if you like all things F1. Alright, now let's get back to the video. There was a lot of excitement surrounding De Vries when he joined the F1 grid after an impressive performance at the 2022 Italian Grand Prix, where he finished in 9th place driving for Williams. However, he struggled to maintain that momentum. De Vries had difficulty keeping up with the pace of his younger but more experienced teammate Yuki, and his lack of experience in Formula 1 didn't help his performance either. Some people believe De Vries should have been given more time to adapt, even if it was just for the 2 upcoming races before the mid-season break. However, in his usual straightforward manner, Marko explained why that approach wasn't taken. He contracted Nyck because he performed great at Monza last year. We expected him to be at least equal to his teammate this year, but that was not the case. Actually, he was always 3/10 slower than Yuki. We saw no improvement, we had to do something. Why wait and what the 2 more races matter if you don't see any improvement? Nyck is a very nice guy, but the speed just wasn't there. Yuki, on the other hand, is in his 3rd year with the team and was given additional time to demonstrate his abilities after a challenging start to his Formula 1 career. However, Marko believes that the situations are not comparable because De Vries, at the age of 28, is already a champion in both Formula 2 and Formula E. He is 28, has a lot of experience, and has also been able to gain a lot of knowledge as a test driver in multiple Formula 1 cars. You can't compare him to a young rookie in my opinion. At the end of April in Baku, he started the weekend well and I thought he would perform better, but then he crashed again. Unfortunately, he didn't do one super lap that really amazed us, Marko stated. As expected, Marko has doubts that another opportunity in Formula 1 will come up for Nyck. He suggests that Nyck should consider shifting his focus towards the World Endurance Championship. Another F1 seat will be difficult, I think. But at the same time, I do think he saw this coming. I think he can build a nice career in long-distance racing, Marko added. Daniel Ricciardo left the Red Bull Chiefs impressed with his pace during his first Formula 1 outing since losing his place on the grid. Many people were interested in his performance, including Christian Horner and the AlphaTauri team. However, it's important to note that his lap times cannot be directly compared to those from the British Grand Prix due to the different weather conditions, track temperatures, and the use of different tires. During the test, Daniel was evaluating harder compounds developed by Pirelli as part of the plan to eliminate tire blankets from Formula 1. These new tires are designed to generate heat more quickly than the current ones used in the championship. While he did have a small incident where he spun the RB19, what stood out was his impressive lap time, which was only 0.7 of a second slower than Max Verstappen's pole position time from the weekend. Christian Horner was so impressed with Daniel's performance that he immediately called Helmut Marko to inform him of the decision to replace Nyck. Marko later revealed how Daniel had performed during his time behind the wheel. His lap times were competitive on 3 different tire sets. Had Daniel not had the speed, we would have had to consider something else. But AlphaTauri is not in a good position and is last in the constructive standings, so we have to do something to bring something about. That often happens after a driver change. Daniel brings new energy to the team. Daniel's return to AlphaTauri could be interpreted as a strategy to put pressure on Sergio Perez, who has been struggling to perform since the Miami Grand Prix in May, consistently failing to reach Q3 in subsequent races. However, Marko stated that it's a situation worth keeping an eye on when it comes to assessing Daniel's performance. Perez is second in the World Championship, so it would make no sense to want to get rid of him now. Also at Silverstone, his race was good, but he needs to improve in qualifying. From Daniel, we also have to see first how he compares to Yuki. I think Yuki is underestimated by many people. The AlphaTauri is not the easiest car to drive, but Yuki has proven that it is possible to get good results, said Marko. It's evident that Nyck's full-time Formula 1 career didn't go as well as anticipated, with the highlight being his 9th place finish during his stand-in appearance for Williams in 2022. If this indeed marks the end of his time on the Formula 1 grid, it can be seen as a disappointment. However, looking at his overall career, it's clear that once he regroups and moves forward, any teams or series he joins in the future will acquire a highly capable racing driver. Although Formula 1 didn't pan out for De Vries at just 28 years old, there's no reason why he can't achieve significant success in his motorsport career moving forward. Daniel is expected to face a harsh reality check when he takes on the AlphaTauri AT04, which could impact his chances of securing a race seat at Red Bull. The excitement surrounding his return may fade quickly as he realizes that he won't be driving the Red Bull RB19 with its impressive rear end. As Lewis Hamilton expressed, Daniel will be racing in the AT04, which has evident weaknesses. One of these weaknesses was a contributing factor to Daniel's struggle during his time with McLaren. Despite being known for his daring overtakes and late braking, Daniel couldn't replicate his previous success at McLaren due to a lack of confidence in corner entry caused by the rear-end weakness. If you struggle with the corner on the exit, normally it's a product of what's happened through the corner that's put you in a position of, let's say, difficulty on the exit. Most difficulties start on the entry, maybe not at all, but most, Daniel explained to the Beyond the Grid podcast last season. Unfortunately for Daniel, this is a concern that he will face once again when he starts driving at the Hungaroring with AlphaTauri. Jonathan Edels, the head of trackside engineering, has acknowledged that it is one of the weaknesses of the team. The late entry, let's say rear instability, which was the bigger weakness, that's the area we've been working on. We have improved it, but it's still a weakness, I would say. With the late entry, and with that part being a weakness, to try to address that, you end up making other areas of the car slower, Edels explained. Considering that Daniel wasn't able to effectively address the rear-end weakness issue during his time at McLaren, it remains uncertain whether the 8-time Grand Prix winner can significantly improve AlphaTauri's performance. After his challenging period at McLaren ended in 2022, Daniel made it clear that if he were to make a comeback, the opportunity to contend for victories would be a crucial factor. It's evident that achieving such success with AlphaTauri would be quite miraculous, as the team has struggled to secure points this season as Red Bull's sister team. Daniel has expressed that his fairy tale final chapter in Formula 1 involves getting another chance to race for Red Bull. However, by taking on the challenge of driving for AlphaTauri, he may have chosen the most challenging stage to prove his capabilities. What do you think are the potential changes that Daniel Ricciardo may face when driving for AlphaTauri, considering the team's weaknesses and performance this season? How do you assess Nyck De Vries' overall performance in Formula 1 and his chances of success in the World Endurance Championship? Do you believe Red Bull made the right decision to replace Nyck De Vries with Daniel Ricciardo, considering their respective backgrounds and track records? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.